I can just slide it to the left and then take it off like that. And also if you have a smaller fish that can actually get in the cup, they can't jump out now. And that means that you'll be able to clamp this part, this front part, right here, the whole entire part. Hey guys, this is Tyler with Top Lids. What is up? We're with a Waterbox Infinia line today. This is the 190.5 version, the 5-footer. And I'm always impressed with Waterbox tanks, and I'm excited that now we finally get to show one on the channel after so long. And this is a new set of lids for it. The tank looks spectacular, and we hope that we could sort of match the look that this client's going for. And there's a couple features on this lid I wanted to show you. The first is just that it's a 2-piece lid for any sort of larger builds, but also this tank has a horizontal light bar that mounts to the side glass. And if you want to put a lot of lights on top, oftentimes that's a little bit more affordable and more expandable later, because maybe this client will want to add a couple lights, and if he was mounting them all on the back, then he'd have to buy more mounts. But because he has this bar, he can change the position of the light side to side, and he can just add more lights. So it's a very kind of expandable way to do it. But that does mean that with a 1-piece lid, you can't really easily remove them. But for this lid, if you come a little closer, it's a 2-piece lid. So if I lift up the right side, I can just slide it to the left and then take it off like that. So it's super, super easy. And then I would do the same thing with the left side there. It also makes it really easy for accessing the tank, because if I want to, I can just put this lid over here, right? So the lids are made out of polycarbonate. Don't be too rough with them, they can scratch, but they're super, super tough, very robust material. So as far as like breaking them, nothing's really gonna hurt these, they're warranted. And then I have access to this entire side of the tank. So I can go in here and gravel back, I can mess with a power head and go clean it, or I can write a snail or spot feed a coral or whatever I need to do. And then when I'm done, I just put it back again, and you just slide it, just like this. And there's an auto feeder here, which I'll show you next. So I gotta go under that. And then they just lay down like that again. So you don't need to move any equipment. You can just take it off nice and easy like that. It only takes a couple seconds. The next thing that's notable, I guess, are just the feed doors up front here. So if you want to come up and we can show those. They look like this. They are screened on the underside, so you don't get any condensation, which is a big issue with kind of other lids that are on the market, is that you have a big honking feed door that's solid, and you'll get condensation on the bottom, so you don't get that on ours. And they're very easy to grab, just right in the center. And if you look really close, we've actually started routering the inside of these. This is new for us. It just makes it a little bit more attractive to grab it and less sharp, to be honest. So it's very nice to grab them now and just put them inside like that. And they do sit recessed down inside. So you saw that when I actually took the lid off, these feed doors don't go anywhere, right? They are locked in place. So they're not gonna fall in the tank on you, and you can move the lid without having to first lift the feed doors to take it off. And the next part actually is just a large cup, I guess, that will sit inside of this feed door. This is for feeding mysis, shrimp, or any other frozen food, or for feeding flakes and pellets as well. The concept is that if I take the feed door off and I put this inside of there, if we feed in this cup, then it's going to spread out the feeding time. If I just feed through this feed door, just like this, then there's only this area that the food's going to immediately be at. And if we're feeding most of the bigger fish, they're gonna come up and get most of the food, whereas if there's a fish all the way on the left side of the tank, for example, they may not get food as easily. So what this cup does is it contains the food inside of the cup area. All the fish still sense that there's food in the water, and they can kind of start to come up and get some. But it doesn't disperse right away. It kind of spreads out over time, which is nice for allowing all the fish to get food in a larger tank like this one that's 5 foot. So that's the food cup. You can also put these on top of the feed doors. A lot of people that in the past, they would kind of take the feed door off when they were putting the cup in, and they'd be like, oh, where'd I put the feed door? So they kind of lose it. So yeah, you can put this up here. and also if you have a smaller fish that can actually get in the cup, they can't jump out now. Next portion that's notable is actually something that we haven't shown a lot of, which is our auto feeder solution. This is the current solution that we have. This is a Zacro feeder, which is just a green and black feeder from Amazon. It's very popular. And basically what we'll do is we'll just have a little bracket cut out like this in the lid, so I can show you. There'll be a little bracket portion like this that's shaped to the mount of the feeder, and then a big opening for screen that's, you know, a very large opening wherever the food is going to fall so it doesn't get on the frame of the lid. So if I put this on here, then you see that the food is going to fall right from this drum at the very, very end of it right here. So when it spins, it'll fall right there. So it's going to fall right in the center of the screen, go right through and disperse in the tank. Now, we do have another solution that's actually a cup, just like for the feed door, but for the auto feeder. So for clients that feed flakes or some bigger food that can actually get stuck on the screen, contact us about that. We can add that to your order in your project, and then you won't have that problem. It'll just go inside the cup. It'll disperse over time, just like the manual feed door. And then there's actually another little clip that we shot of this EcoTech mount. This is not how it looked when we got here. If you want to come up closer. This is not how it looked when we got here. It actually looked, the mount itself looked different than this. So now we'll show some footage of that. There's something that you have to do to edit this mount in order to have it sit really nice and flush like this. Okay, so EcoTech lights. There's a problem. There is a problem that almost nobody knows about. But for these lids that we made for this client, we did some cutouts for EcoTech, and EcoTech almost, you know, so many people have EcoTech lights. But when you get them, they actually won't fit properly with the lids. So if you come in a little closer, the way that we make our EcoTech mounts, it doesn't fit right now. And so, you know, the reason for that is that actually almost nobody knows that the EcoTech mounts, when you get them, they're actually configured for if you have a rimmed tank. So like a tank with a black frame on it, or like a big aluminum frame on the top here. That's what they're configured for out of the box. And I'll show you if you come a little closer. This piece here is what I'm talking about. So there's a piece kind of right here that actually clamps to the glass right there. That is what I mean. This is actually for a frame tank, and it's so that the mount can go around the frame and not interfere with it, because if you clamp it just to a frame, sometimes it can break the frame. You're actually supposed to take this piece off. It's removable. And that means that you'll be able to clamp this part, this front part, right here, the whole entire part to the glass, and it'll actually make the mount a lot more secure and straight as well. So we're gonna show you some video here now of, you know, me taking it off. It's really easy. You just basically unscrew the mount and then pop it off down below. And so we'll show you guys that, and we'll be back when it's finished. Just like that, nice, clean. And that is how it comes off, right? So it's just fit on there like this, just has a little tongue and groove there, and it just comes off like that. And then when I screw this back on, it is going to magically fit on all nice and perfect. Okay, and she's all done. So now I'm going to slide the lid back. This is how it looks when it's all kind of configured for a rimless tank. And now I'm going to slide the lid in, and boom, just like that. So that is how it's supposed to fit, both the light and the lid, right? So this, again, is the EcoTech Radion specific mount and how top lids fits in it. So on auto feeders, whenever we do cutouts for auto feeders, it's, you know, something that you guys may not be using all of the time, because auto feeders are one of those things where we kind of use them because they're functional, not because they look good. Most auto feeders do not look very good on top of the tank, so when you're viewing the tank, it's best to not have them on. So how we do that is, here's the auto feeder on. If I just unscrew this and take it off, there is a little insert door that comes with each of our auto feeder cutouts. And so I'm going to take this off, And this is the insert door for this one. It just looks like this. It's nice and clean, just like the lid is. And when I put it on here, it locks in place so it doesn't move, right? So it can't fall out. And it just blends in with the lid. Now a fish can't jump through this gap. So it just sort of covers the gap. Fish can't jump through it, and it gives you that nice flush look instead of having this big gaping hole there. And now that the light mounts are in place, we're gonna go to the middle of the tank and look at the overflow box. So if you wanna come over, this is the Waterbox overflow. It's just basically, you know, a very nice overflow box, and it comes all the way up to the top of the glass. Support lip that sits on top of the overflow box. And the reason for that is this lid is split in the center. It's a two-piece lid. So I can press pretty darn hard on this lid and it's not going anywhere, right? So let's say that there's, you know, a cat that likes to get on here, or they get on the top of the lid, or just for long-term use, it's best to have kind of more support than you need for a lid that's going over a very large tank. So we do add extra support to these overflow boxes like the Waterbox. And other than that, guys, that's kind of, I'm trying to think, but that's pretty much it for this project. So this was a really fun build to work on, and I hope that you enjoyed and that it was informative. If you guys want to inquire about a lid project or just say hi, then toplids.com is where you'll go. There'll be some stuff on screen right now showing kind of how you can interact with us and get in touch. Other than that, guys, this has been Tyler with Top Lids, and we'll talk with you guys soon.